the whole point of this project, I feel like I need to make this clear. Like, you know, why would you do this? Why would you try to speedrun half of the licensed library of NES games? Why don't you do it for other libraries? Or why does it just have to be licensed games? Well, the reason this project started, or why I decided to go through with it, is because I just noticed that a lot of NES runners were only focused on the popular games. The same 20 or 30 games, you know, the Zeldas, Punch-Out, the Marios, the Contras, Batman, like all of, you know, just the popular stuff. And, you know, a lot of people, instead of, you know, going on to try other games after they're done playing whatever, they start playing randomizers and, you know, bingos and stuff like that. I just didn't want to do that. I had no interest in that. I wanted to learn, I like learning different games. If I am bored of a game, I'll stop the game, I'll play something else. Or I'll try another game, and then if I want to go back to a previous game, I'll go back. And so, that's kind of what birthed this project, is that it seemed, to me, it just felt like, man, like, this is what I want to do, or at least I wished that more people in the community would want to do this. But simply put, everybody has their own preferences, and so I said, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna do this. We started at 246 games that I already knew when I decided to do this project. Most of it came from Nescathlons, Big 20s, stuff like that. Now, there are an additional like 40 or 50 something games that were Famicom exclusive, unlicensed, homebrew, a couple ROM hacks. There were games like that. I'm just checking my playlist here, making sure it actually does shuffle. Okay, shuffle is on, so after this song it'll shuffle. Perfect. So I basically, it was, at first I'm like, this is a terrible idea, but then what I started doing is I made a whole document. What games would I be interested in running? There are still 70 games on that document. There's still 70, and there's also a few that I couldn't do. The one game I wish I had done for this project, that you're going to notice I didn't, is Castlevania 3. When I get an NES EverDrive, that is the first game I'm running. I could have done it on emulator, didn't really want to. And even though I have the cartridge, I can't practice it without... I need the save states to practice. And the game does not work on Power Pack, which is all I've got, besides the cartridges. But anyways, kind of going back to what I was, you know, talking about, there's just so many... Like, there's 714 licensed NES games that Nintendo themselves said, yes, release it. Now, some of them are very questionable. Like, I don't think Cybernoid should have released. And then you have some games that are like, fine. Like Championship Bowling, it's like, whatever, fine. But then you have, you know, Adventures of Lolo, which is a great game. You know, there's a whole wide variety of games. It's not just platformers or just baseball games. I know I did a lot of baseball, but LJN, yeah, there were a lot of LJN games that I did. But the thing is that I really wanted to sort of prove, not just to me, but to really everybody, the NES has so many games, and so many of them are worth a look. Like, Batman Returns is probably the biggest hidden gem on the NES. This game is amazing, and nobody plays it. It's hard, I know, but like nobody plays this, and it's so good. You know, the PAL exclusive Drop Zone, that's a fun game. It's very similar to Defender 2, but like Drop Zone's a lot of fun. We didn't get the game in the US. I'm from the US. You know, you've got stuff like Greg Norman's Golf Power, it's just like, you know, a silly golf game, but it's like, even this was worth me playing once and giving it a shot. You even had some PAL games that had Famicom versions, which I ran. Hammer and Harry, Banana Prince, even games like Tom and Jerry, it's faster to play on Japanese. I did Tom and Jerry. All, you know, the three good Turtles games, we didn't do the first one. But the NES also has a lot of junk. Rocky and Bullwinkle is really bad. I don't like Tom Sawyer. Great Waldo Search is a really silly short game, but that's the thing too, is that the NES does have a lot of silly short games, but some of those can be fun every once in a while. You know, Urban Champion, it's fun to mess around with a little bit. Videomation keeps getting rejected for speedrun.com leaderboards, but I still did it. I created a category, and there's even, I think, 2 other people, if I remember correctly, who actually have a run of this. Rocky and Baloney. You know, even, again, like, there's so many hidden, like, Zexus, even though this was in Big 2016, Zexus is pretty good. Like, it's not an amazing game, but it's pretty good. You know, like, I mean, Wayne's World is terrible, for instance. There's not every game is going to be a hit. Trog is a great casual game, terrible speedrun. Gilligan's Island is really silly, but I'm a Gilligan's Island fan. I have the DVD set of all the Gilligan's Island games. But the thing is that the NES is the reason video games are still popular today. It started here. It started with these games that I'm like, it started with this. When the NES came out, video games stopped being a giant meme, and people actually were like, hey, video games can be fun and good. You know, games like Total Recall are still bad. There's still some bad games that got published for some reason. Astyanax I don't like. You know, Arkista's Ring is just fine. It's too random, but I think it's fine. But the whole idea of me doing this was I wanted to kind of prove to as many people as possible, even myself, like, well, first off, prove to myself I can do a challenge as ridiculous as this. This is a stupid challenge, but I did it. But 2, look at how many games I ran that I said, you know what? Like, these games, people should try. Yeah, there's gonna be some silly ones, like Saycross is stupid, but like, I even had a little bit of fun with Saycross, you know? Snoopy Silly Sports Spectacular, I don't really care for this game, but I think people should get out of their comfort zone a little bit, try out some of these games, and if you try a game and you hate it, that's fine, you know? Like, I tried Spelunker, I don't really care for it, I don't really like it that much, but I tried it. And I think that's the point, is I think I'm kind of noticing a trend where some people just don't want to explore these games. And, you know, that's just kind of what started this whole thing. I'm like, you know what? These people don't want to explore these games. I'll do it. Tiny Toon Adventures 2, not my favorite, but I said, screw it. I'll do it. Exactly, yeah. Exactly, anime. But like, you know, Werewolf the Last Warrior is such a sick game. It's really hard, but it's so sick. And yeah, you know, there's goofy stuff that I ran that, like, you know, like the Wheel of Fortunes, the Jeopardies. I ran like 15 baseball games. There's going to be silly stuff. If I had done half the SNES challenge or half the Game Boy challenge, same results. There's going to be a lot of great stuff, a lot of hidden gems, but also a lot of silly stuff. So, that game is missing a period. So, I just kind of wanted to... That was the whole point of this challenge. So, the thing is... Did I run Jekyll and Hyde? I did not. Nope. I've never actually played it. Never played it. But that you lead me into a good point. You might be wondering, what about, you know, Castlevania 3? What about Kickle Cubicle? What about RC Pro M2? What about, you know, Bucky O'Hare? Like, what about those games? Why didn't, you know... The thing is that it wasn't that I ran the first one, by the way, Zara. Is that, you know, some people might say, like, you know, why didn't you run this game? Or, you know, can you run this game? Will you? I'm not done playing NES games. I'm not done playing NES games. The main reason certain games were not done was difficulty, or it was due to just lack of knowledge on the game. Like, I'm just like, I don't know what this game is. I'm not really sure where to look for information. Like, I think one game that I thought about doing when I did that PAL game session where I had to play the PAL games on emulator One of the ones I wanted to look at was international cricket. I don't know how to play cricket. I'm American. But, like, you know, I don't know how to play cricket, and there's not a whole lot of information on the game online anyways. I couldn't really figure it out. Not saying it'll never happen, but maybe. And, you know, games like RC Pro M2, Bucky O'Hare, like, I could have done those, but I also knew that they were very difficult. Or at least Bucky O'Hare for sure. Like, that's a hard game. Not that hard games were out. Let me, before you say, oh, you only did the easy games. Before you say that, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Honestly, try to beat this game without knowing anything about it. Try to beat this game without knowing anything about it. Try. Look at that one. Mega Man 1 is hard. Yeah, exactly, Krez. And hey, you know what? If me doing this challenge gave you an appreciation for the classics, perfect. I love that. I love that you are kind of appreciating this. You might not ever run all these games or play them, but if you can at least appreciate it, hey, we're good. So, this was the whole point. Is that, like, I don't think a single one of you ever heard of Mechanized Attack. I didn't even know what Mechanized Attack was until I started doing research on what games I could probably run. But anyways, to go back to a previous point, I'm not done with the NES. There's still some games I want to learn. I might even get to some of the ones I mentioned before. I might even run them. Castlevania 3, I said, is going to happen once I get an EverDrive, whenever that is. However, I'm gonna be done with the NES for a while. I've made the decision I'm done with the NES for a while. Now, a while could mean a month, it could mean 2 months, it could mean, you know, half a year. If you want to exchange world records, hey, we'll see. But I set out on probably the stupidest challenge I could have thought of. And now that it's over, it's like, you know, for the past 2.5 months, I have turned on the NES, learned a game, ran it, turn on the NES again, learn another game, keep going. Like, it just kept going. I never got burnt out, but there were times where I thought I was going to get there. And before we reach that point, I think, yeah, it's time for me to calm down on this. So, as far as the future of my stream, or at least what's coming soon, first off, I might take a break from speedrunning for a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean a week, you know. But the main thing I want to do is I want to go back to old speedruns of games that I wasn't thrilled with my PB in. I would like to announce a few games so first off, let me announce a few games on this list that I will go back to. So in the future, there are some NES games I want to go back to and improve my time in. Alfred Chicken is one of them. Another one is Funhouse. I actually want to learn Warpless for this. Home Alone 2 is very possible. Kirby's Adventure is another one. Arcadia, shoutouts to you. This game eventually I will return to. It'll be a while because I'm taking the break with the NES, but yeah. Yes, not Krusty's Funhouse. There's a game called Funhouse and there's Krusty's Funhouse. Funhouse is the good game, and that one I'll go back to learn Warpless, but not Krusty's Funhouse. Yeah, Krusty's Funhouse I've seen the game, and I realize it's like a Lemmings type game. I don't really like Lemmings type games. I'm not really a fan. That's why I didn't run Lemmings. Lethal Weapon I want to go back to. I think some of these Mega Mans might be fun to return to. I could even see Punch-Out coming back. What else? Just whatever catches my eye, I want to just explain it. Not kicks. Not kicks. This game conceptually is good. Man, this game is so hard. Yeah, I almost ran that game. I almost did it, but other stuff won out. But that will happen at some point. I have not forgotten about that game. Rocking Cats is amazing. I think I'm satisfied with my time there. We are not doing Round Ball 2 on 2 challenge. No, 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 no. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. I might come back to Star Wars. I might. What else? TMNT 3, I want to go back to at some point. Well, I've thought about it. I might change my mind on that one. But yeah, there's, you know, Legend of Zelda for sure. I want to go back. But yeah, there's still a lot of great games on this list of stuff I want to go back to. Zen Intergalactic Ninja, yeah, like there's some good stuff here. So, but anyways, I want to go back to old speedruns of games I did years ago, and I want to improve my time. One, because some games have new tech, I want to learn it. Two, some of my PB videos have the worst video quality you can imagine. And three, I just miss some of these older games. So, you know, not NES games, but some of the games I've thought about. This one is a recent addition to the list. Mario Maker 1, GoldenEye 007 Reloaded, GoldenEye Nintendo 64. What else is on my list? Pitfall the Mine Adventure. I want to learn 100%. It's another one off the top of my head. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. I did one run and never tried again. I want to try again. You know, there's a lot of games I want to go back and improve my time in. Final Fantasy IV Paladin. I have a cartridge now of the US version. Thank you, Zara. I can try that again. But yeah, that's the plan, is gonna be, I'm gonna go back to some of these older speedruns, and I'm gonna relearn them. Fable 3 is another one I want to go back to. I want to go back to Fable 3. I just want to get a PB, because my video quality on my PB is terrible, so Fable 3 will come back. But yeah, this song is slightly loud in my ears. I will turn it down just a little bit. Perfect. But yeah, that's the plan right now for stream. So real quick, I'm kind of curious. I have a 2-part question. So real quick, in case you want to look at what I'm looking at. You don't have to participate in this little question, but I'm just curious. So, I want to know, what's your favorite NES game? And 2, are there any NES games on this list that you didn't know about, but after seeing me run it, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And it doesn't have to be just from this challenge, just in general. Were there any NES games on this list that when you saw me play it, you actually were like, oh, that game actually looks sick? I'm curious. And while you guys are typing your answers, I'll give you mine. Super Mario Bros. 3 is my favorite NES game. This got me into video games, and I love this game to death. I love Mario 3. It's my favorite NES game. By the way, this is another NES game I want to go back to, is Mario 3. But the other game, the one game, now I'm going to change the question for just me. The one game that I fell in love with, that when I was looking at it, that I'm like, oh man, this is actually really cool. I mentioned it earlier. Batman Returns. Even if you can't finish a run, or if you can't beat the whole game or whatever, this is the one game I'd tell people, the most underrated game on the NES. It's gotta be this one. It has to be. There's other games in contention, but I think this one takes it. Punch-Out is the one you had the most fun. Punch-Out is sick. I just ran that. Punch-Out is sick. Yeah. Favorite is Mega Man 4. Surprisingly, no. Interesting. Okay. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Chip and Dale is great. Chip and Dale is a great game. Chip and Dale is a great game. Chip and Dale 2 is great as well, but it's not a very good speed game. Chip and Dale 1 is great in both ways. Chip and Dale 2 is great casually, and like it's fun to mess around with and get a sub 20. After that, there's no real reason to grind this one out, in my opinion. Some of the bosses in this game have a lot of RNG, and it's pure RNG. There's nothing you can do. So, okay, new question. What in your opinion, what's the worst NES game ever made? In your opinion, what do you think is the worst one? I have my answer. I could give you a few, but this one takes the cake. Yeah. This is Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends is the worst game on NES. Rocky and Bleeble Blab. Yeah. It's a bad game to watch, it's a bad game to play, it's a bad game to listen to, it's a bad game to, everything. There are some other bad games on the NES. I think Cybernoid is absolutely terrible. I think Total Recall sucks. Wayne's World is really bad. Home Alone 1 and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah, those are both fair. Home Alone, I have a tied world record with like 200 something people. Ultimate Exodus can be unbearable if not in the right mindset. That's fair. I've actually never played it. Load Run. I actually tried Load Runner, believe it or not. I did not like it. I did not like it. Not the worst I've ever played, but I just didn't really like it. Yeah, Home Alone 2 is bad, but it is definitely, as far as an actual game, Home Alone 2 is better. Yeah. Yo, Infinite Mystery. Thanks for the GG. No worries. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post the clip of me finishing Punch-Out. I'll post it on Twitter, and I'll highlight my run and everything, and it will, yeah. I will get all that stuff highlighted and everything. We're just kind of doing a little retrospective on everything. Amagon is bad. We're just kind of talking about what our favorite NES games are, or if anybody looked at, you know, if anybody saw me play a specific game and they actually thought it was really cool, you know, I'm just kind of curious. You have trouble with the second half boxer-wise? Yeah. Super Macho Man is my worst fight. Super Macho Man is... I was able to... I got a 14-0 KO. I defeated everybody without game overing or anything, and without having to go to decision, but... Haven't passed on Dawn 2 yet. I gotcha, yeah. He can be... There's a hack for him. I don't want to say hack, but like there's a strategy for him to make it a little bit more bearable. But yeah, he's tough. But yeah. So as far as yeah, Qbert with boxing gloves. I actually used my Big 20 strat. You know what's more impressive, though? It's more impressive that you beat Tyson with no strats. You were able to beat him after 10 hours. That's more impressive than me learning a strat and beating him within a few minutes. Like, at least me personally, that's what I think. But yeah, anyways, maybe I'm just barely, yeah. I remember being in the stream. Yeah, it was a decision. I gotcha. I'd have to go back and look at your Big 20 VOD to look at that again. But yeah, I was just kind of letting everybody know. So I'm taking a break with NES games for a long time. I have played the hell out of my NES basically all year. I'm done with it for a while. I'm gonna go back to other systems and improve some old PBs. I'm still gonna learn some new games. But yeah, like the plan right now is to go back to previous games that I've played. There are some NES games I want to go back to as well, but I'm going to save those for later. That's the plan right now, that's what I want to do. So, I guess to kind of close out this retrospective, I do just want to say thanks to all of you who have stuck around and who have shown up to streams and watched me play A lot of these games that some of y'all I maybe have never seen before, or some of you have wanted me to, some of you have wanted me to speedrun. E.T. Oh man. You know, I could go back to E.T. and improve my time. I made a tutorial. Like, I could go back and improve my time by 2 seconds or whatever. There were a lot of there were some duds in these games that I ran. Freedom Force I don't really like. Friday the 13th is way too random, but yes, I made a tutorial to with RNG manipulation in case you want to learn that and do a run yourself. But then there was some good stuff, and there were some hidden gems for sure. We did do Infamous here. We did do Kid Clown. I don't know if I ever told you, but I actually ended up getting to Kid Clown, so I have a time on the leaderboard for that. I will come back to this game because I think I can beat my time. So, but yeah, I remember you asking me about that one. I did run Kid Clown. That is part of the 357. Yeah. Actually, last question for y'all before I end this retrospective kind of thing. I'll highlight this whole retrospective type thing. Are there any games? How do I phrase this? If there's one NES game you wish that I would have ran for this challenge, I know that's kind of a tough question because there's so many games that it's like, wait, did you run this? Wait, did you run that? Is there a NES game that you guys were thinking I might get to, or you wanted to see me run that I didn't get to? And I will open that up to homebrew, unlicensed, all that kind of stuff. I'll open that too, because half of it is I want to. Did I do Legend of Kage? I did not. I did not do Legend of Kage. Let's see. Does it? Yeah. Did not do Legend of Kage. I'm sure you can guess mine. Wait, did you mention something earlier? Oh, Krusty's Funhouse. Is that the one? Are you a fan of that one? Or is it something else? That or Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, yeah. Actually, let me look over here. I don't want to... Let's see here. Not that there's anything bad to show or anything. It's just a Persona wallpaper, but yeah. Oh, sweet. My Banana Prince run got verified. What was I just about to look at? Not Jekyll and Hyde. What is the speed run? Any percent 1951. I scrolled down to JSR's comment. First completed run, likely my last. Yeah, actually, I think I have Krusty's Funhouse on cartridge. Hang on a minute. Let me check. Hang on. Sorry. Sorry, I have a lot going on. Kid Clown, take over hard mode. I'll think about it. But yeah, Kid Clown, I definitely want to come back to. It'll be way down the line because I don't want to play any NES for a while. But yeah, that is the idea. Let me check and see if I have Krusty's Funhouse. Where's regular Funhouse? Hang on a minute. What the heck? What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Alright. A little history lesson for you guys. So, this is Krusty's Funhouse. This is Funhouse. This game I ran. This game is a top-down, throw tomatoes at targets and beat the level game. This is basically a Lemmings game. I'm not a huge fan of Lemmings games, but some people are. Some people love this, and that's fine. You know, I kind of dissed on this game earlier, but it's like, hey, if you love Krusty's Funhouse, fine with me. I'm okay with it. You want to know a really bad NES game that I liked? Actually, let's look on the license list, because I can tell you a canceled NES game that I like that's kind of bad. California Raisins is objectively not very good, but I actually did kind of like the speedrun. But that's a canceled NES game. I didn't include it for this challenge. TMNT 1? That's fair. I personally don't like it, but I understand why you might. Wow, okay, this is actually going to be kind of hard. Hang on a minute. A bad game that I like. An objectively bad game that I like. I think it's this one. This game, Dash Galaxy and the Alien Asylum, not a good game at all. Speedrun? Surprisingly not too bad. Are there any bad games that made for a good speedrun? Well, Dash Galaxy is one of them. I think that's, it's not a good game, but it's a good speedrun. Chip 'n Dale 2 is a good game, but like, well, actually, that's sort of the inverse of your question. I want to look for other games. I feel like this game, if this game wasn't, if Orchestra's Ring wasn't so random, I would say that. Because the game itself is like fine. It's not too crazy, but the RNG is a problem. I think Adventures in the Magic Kingdom is like a mediocre game, but speedrunning it is pretty fun. Yeah, I like Chip 'n Dale too. I like it. But once you get a sub 20-minute time in this game, I don't want to grind for more RNG. Dragon's Lair is another game that I'm surprised I even ran. In fact, some people would even say Funhouse is a bad game. I watched a video. There's a guy I'm subscribed to. He talks about NES games that no one played, basically. And he did a video on Funhouse, and he said it was a bad game. And I'm like, I disagree, but some people think Funhouse is bad. I think Funhouse is a lot of fun. Yeah, Dragon's Lair is not a good game at all. Like, I don't recommend anybody play it. Oh. Here's the #1 answer, Anime, because you asked a bad game that makes for a good speedrun. Ghoul School. Ghoul School is the answer. That is the answer. Ghoul School is the answer to your question. Horrible casual game. Horrible casual game. Amazing speedrun. The game is so broken, it's so fun to speedrun it. Ghoul School. If you had to play Dragon's Lair, do the PAL version, yeah. Ghoul School is really fun. White Hat made a tutorial. It's very simple and straight to the point. It's awesome. I like it. I like Ghoul School. Well, anyways, I think I'm going to wrap up the retrospective. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the rest of my stream, at least for now, but I have an idea, but we'll think about it. But yeah, that's basically it. I just kind of wanted to talk about this challenge and talk about, you know, what led me to do this challenge, kind of what I learned and what I, you know, just kind of getting some ideas from all of you. Yeah, Indiana Jones, all the Indiana Jones games are bad, all of them. I had a lot of fun with this challenge. And no, I'm not gonna run half the library on other systems. I'm not doing the Game Boy or the SNES library next. Don't get excited for those. That's not happening. NES I made a special case for. But yes, the plan is to go back to past speed games. But yeah, my challenge is done. The quest to speedrun half the licensed NES library is over.